Hello everyone, I'm Eric. Welcome to my brand new channel. If you love the bold and the beautiful, you are in the right place. I'll be sharing daily spoilers, recaps, and news, so please hit that subscribe button to support me. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most in-depth and exciting updates from the thrilling world of daytime television. Today is a magnificent day to unpack the explosive drama, shifting alliances, and shocking revelations unfolding on our screens. If you missed the jaw-dropping Tuesday, May 5th episode, you are in the perfect place to catch up on every single detail. Let us dive right into the heart of the action and dissect the monumental shifts happening right now. The episode delivered an absolute masterclass in suspense and narrative payoff when Remy finally dropped his facade in the most literal sense imaginable. The moment Remy reached up and removed the wig that had been concealing his identity, the entire landscape of the storyline was instantly turned upside down. This dramatic unmasking was not merely a physical reveal, it was a profound psychological shockwave that finally explained the origin of the mysterious and cryptic phone calls that have been haunting the characters. For weeks, an underlying tension has permeated the atmosphere, driven by these untraceable and unsettling communications. The revelation that Remy was the architect behind this auditory harassment completely recontextualizes his presence in Los Angeles. He is no longer just a heartbroken ex-boyfriend lingering in the shadows, hoping for a second chance with Deke. He is a calculating, strategic manipulator who has been actively pulling strings from behind the scenes to force a confrontation on his own terms. The sheer magnitude of Remy's deception became even more apparent when the true target of his cryptic campaign was revealed. He was not harassing just anyone, he was desperately trying to contact Dylan, who, in a stunning twist of familial ties, was revealed to be his cousin. This hidden bloodline connection instantly rewrites the history of Dylan's arrival and integration into the Los Angeles social scene. Remy did not just randomly appear. He is the fundamental reason Dylan's life took the trajectory it did. During their intense confrontation, Remy made sure to explicitly remind Dylan that he was the one responsible for securing her the pivotal art camp job. That single opportunity was the catalyst for everything that followed. It was at that art camp where Dylan first crossed paths with Elektra, forging a bond that would eventually lead her to the sprawling metropolis of Los Angeles and secure her the highly coveted receptionist position at Forrester Creations. By meticulously laying out this chain of events, Remy is constructing a massive psychological trap for his cousin. In his twisted perspective, he is the architect of Dylan's current success and happiness. Because he facilitated the art camp job that introduced her to Elektra in the Forrester world, Remy firmly believes that Dylan owes him an insurmountable debt. He is calling in a favor of epic proportions, operating under the transactional belief that family loyalty and past favors must be repaid on demand. Remy feels entitled to Dylan's compliance, viewing her not as an independent woman who earned her place through hard work and a glowing recommendation from Deke at Il Giardino, but as a pawn he placed on the board years ago, ready to be activated for his own personal gain. This heavy burden of obligation places Dylan in an agonizing position, forcing her to weigh her familial ties against her newfound independence and the genuine friendships she has cultivated. The timing of Remy's demand could not possibly be worse, plunging Dylan into a nightmare of conflicting loyalties and moral outrage. Dylan is currently reeling from a devastating piece of information she recently learned directly from Elektra. Elektra confided in Dylan about the horrific trauma she endured, revealing that Remy was the malicious force who tormented her with devastating deepfakes. These fabricated, malicious videos completely derailed Elektra's life, causing her profound psychological distress and nearly destroying her reputation before she could even establish herself as a designer. Hearing this horrifying truth about her own cousin has shattered any illusions Dylan might have held about Remy's character. She is now acutely aware of the monster he can be, making his sudden reappearance and demands for a favor not just inconvenient, but deeply sinister. How can she possibly align herself with the man who systematically tried to destroy her closest friend? Despite the overwhelming evidence of his past cruelty, Remy remains fiercely determined to rewrite his own narrative. He vehemently insists to Dylan that he is no longer the vindictive, tormented person who orchestrated the deepfake attacks against Elektra. He claims to have undergone a profound personal transformation, seeking redemption and a fresh start. However, his version of redemption is highly specific and entirely self-serving. Remy's ultimate goal is to win back Deke, the man he desperately loves and misses. Knowing that Dylan has recently formed a close and supportive friendship with Deke, especially after Deke offered her profound advice about not giving up on love at Il Giardino, Remy sees his cousin as the perfect Trojan horse. He wants Dylan to use her established trust with Deke to advocate on his behalf, to soften the ground, and to convince Deke that Remy is truly a changed man worthy of a second chance. To ensure Dylan's cooperation, Remy is not above resorting to emotional blackmail. He is fully aware of the delicate ecosystem of relationships Dylan is currently navigating. Dylan recently made the heartbreaking and selfless decision to move out of Will Spencer's beach house specifically to preserve her friendship with Elektra, stepping away from a potential romance to honor her platonic bond. Remy knows that if Elektra were to discover that Dylan is biologically related to the man who ruined her life with deepfakes, that hard-won friendship would instantly evaporate into a cloud of betrayal. Remy implicitly threatens to expose their cousin relationship to Elektra if Dylan refuses to help him reconcile with Deke. This places Dylan in an impossible, precarious situation. She is being forced to keep a massive, toxic secret from Elektra, the very person she just sacrificed her living situation to protect, all to serve the selfish, romantic ambitions of a cousin she barely recognizes anymore. While Dylan is suffocating under the weight of Remy's blackmail, R.J. Forrester is completely oblivious to the new threat entering Elektra's orbit. R.J. has recently taken it upon himself to become Elektra's ultimate protector. Channeling the fierce, almost aggressive protectiveness of his grandfather, Massimo Marone, R.J. is determined to shield Elektra from any further emotional harm. Having just engaged in a bitter rivalry and physical scuffle with Will Spencer over Elektra's affections, and having witnessed the catastrophic fallout of Ivy Forrester's manipulative letter-hiding scheme, R.J. is on high alert. He makes a solemn, unwavering promise to Elektra that he will keep her safe from any further betrayal, drama, or manipulation. R.J. wants to be her safe harbor, the reliable Forrester man who stands in stark contrast to the chaotic energy brought by the Spencers and the toxic plotting of her Aunt Ivy. However, R.J.'s noble promise is destined to collide violently with the reality of Remy's return. R.J. is promising a level of security that is mathematically impossible to maintain when Elektra's closest confidant, Dylan, is secretly harboring the cousin of her greatest abuser. The dramatic irony is palpable. As R.J. swears to protect Elektra from outside forces, the real danger is already inside the gates, disguised as a secret kept by a trusted friend. When the truth inevitably comes to light, the fallout will be apocalyptic. R.J.'s protective instincts will likely shift into pure rage upon learning that Dylan kept Remy's identity a secret, potentially destroying the fragile camaraderie he and Dylan might have shared over their respective heartaches. Elektra will find herself surrounded by deception once again, proving that in Los Angeles, safety is merely an illusion waiting to be shattered by the next family secret. In a completely different but equally volatile corner of the Forrester Creations universe, the executive offices are practically vibrating with unresolved tension and corporate warfare. Hope Logan has finally reached her absolute breaking point, a culmination of months of marginalization and disrespect at the hands of Steffi Forrester Finnegan. The atmosphere within the prestigious fashion house has grown increasingly toxic, heavily influenced by Steffi's unilateral decision-making and her relentless need to assert dominance over every aspect of the company. Hope, who has poured her heart, soul, and creative genius into the Hope for the Future line, feels utterly unappreciated and systematically pushed aside. She watches as Steffi wields her power like a weapon, threatening to fire people like Ivy and dictating the terms of everyone's employment, while completely ignoring the vital contributions that Hope brings to the Forrester legacy. Seeking solace, validation, and strategic advice, Hope turns to Liam Spencer and Katie Logan, venting her profound frustrations about the suffocating environment Steffi has cultivated. This gathering of minds is significant. Katie, who is currently entrenched in her own bitter and escalating business feud with her sister Brooke Logan over the direction of the company, completely understands the sting of being overshadowed and dismissed by a powerful executive. Liam, always the sounding board for Hope's emotional turmoil, listens as Hope details the endless microaggressions and blatant power plays Steffi uses to keep her in check. The solidarity between Hope, Liam, and Katie highlights a growing, formidable rebellion against the established power structures within the company. Hope is no longer willing to quietly accept the scraps of respect Steffi tosses her way. She recognizes her own immense value and is tired of fighting for a seat at a table she helped build. In a moment of absolute clarity and defiance, Hope openly contemplates the nuclear option, drafting her official resignation letter. She admits to Liam and Katie that perhaps it is finally time for a massive structural change in her life. This is not an empty threat born of fleeting anger, but a calculated, heartbreaking realization that her worth is simply not being recognized within the walls of Forrester. If Hope were to actually write that resignation letter and walk away, the fallout would be catastrophic for the business.
What do you guys think about today's drama? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for your daily dose of bold and beautiful news. See you in the next video.